Hey, Surfline lead forecaster Kirk Corte here. We got a really significant nor'easter that's going to be impacting the East Coast over the next 48 to 72 hours. We're going to break down what we can expect from this system, not only up in the Northeast, where initially we'll see most of the impacts, but also the potential for a pretty prolonged run of swell, really, for Florida and even down into the Caribbean, some spots down there. Still going to see waves from the system even all the way through Christmas. So a lot going on, but right now, really not much out there in the water. As we take a look at our multi-cam tool, you can get this via the little button up here on the top left of the Surfline site. You can expand out one spot, 9 spots, and anywhere in between. Take a look at our current conditions around Long Island. Those top 3 cams looking pretty much flat this afternoon, so really not much happening. Same down in Jersey. We got Belmar and Manasquan there towards the middle part of the screen. A little bit of wind swell here on the Outer Banks. Pretty junky and poor though with the onshore winds. A little bit of wind swell down in South Carolina, and really New Smyrna, North Florida looking like the real standout. We'll go ahead and zoom in and take a look at our surf report for there. And as we can see, pretty fun surf. We have 2 cams there. This is the north cam. Some fun waves, some pretty good conditions. Nice little crowd out there. Obviously, New Smyrna a real magnet, but some nice surf out there today if you can get it. But again, pretty big changes on the way as we head forward. We'll take a look at the GFS model. This is our surface winds, 10-meter winds, and you can see low pressure impacting the northeastern U.S. during the day on Thursday. As we look at the timestamp up here on the right, that's UTC's time, which is actually 5 hours ahead of us. So this is at 2 a.m. on Thursday. And we can see the system really ramping up. One change that we've seen with the 12Z run today is actually the center of the storm more towards the west and north, and that has some impacts on our winds and conditions, especially for parts of the mid-Atlantic. Rob's on the forecast. He actually dropped me a note right before I cut this video saying that is going to impact our surf conditions for Maryland, Delaware, and parts of New Jersey during the day on Thursday. He'll be updating that forecast later today. Stay tuned to that, as it does look like some changes, and actually some positive changes for those zones. I do think the big standout on Thursday, though, is going to be Long Island, as we see here. Going to be a good amount of easterly swell and offshore winds, but potentially a lot of snowfall. Before we get to the actual swell forecast, we'll take a look at predicted snowfall from the National Weather Service, looking at 14 inches currently projected for JFK, a little less out towards Suffolk County, Montauk, looking at 7 inches on the forecast. Down in Jersey, tough call here with the center of that low. If that continues to shift more towards the north and west, we'll see less snowfall along the coast and more of it centered back into Pennsylvania and parts of northern Jersey. But as you can see here, pretty sharp rain snow line for us. But it does look like a pretty significant event weather-wise, especially Long Island. Could be pretty hard to get to the beach during the day on Thursday. So worth keeping an eye on that. But as we do look at the swell forecast, this is our regional forecast page. Really our bread and butter, the colored boxes here. Our forecast team updates this twice a day, every single day. As we see the morning update from Rob, calling for building surf, pretty solid surf by Thursday. Offshore winds going to be pretty challenging out there, pretty windy, but it does look like a favorable north to northwest winds, and even some really fun surf Friday. It's going to be a lot more approachable for many people during the day on Friday, shaping up to be a pretty good day. We have that incoming tide through the morning, high tide around 10 a.m. Going to be a couple of days of really fun surf for Long Island. Also, some challenging surf down in New Jersey as well. So that will be worth keeping an eye on as we look at our wave animations here. As we shift over and look at kind of a broader view of the Northwest Atlantic, we can see the rising surf during the overnight hours Thursday or Wednesday into Thursday. Solid surf. And then as that low exits, we see a gradual trend down in our waves for the northeastern U.S. as we head into the weekend, but still should be plenty of fun surf around. We'll zoom out even a little bit more and see the potential impacts of Florida and down into the Caribbean as we look at the large-scale view here. You can see as that low exits out, we see some of those purple colors. That's going to send a lot of northeast swell down to Florida and the Caribbean, looking like some pretty good waves for timing. We're looking at a Sunday into next week. Potentially some pretty good winds for many zones, especially down in the Caribbean. So shaping up to be really a great swell producer for many locations along the East Coast. For details on your specific area, if we didn't touch base on it, you're going to want to check out those regional forecast pages. We update those twice a day, every single day from our team here on the East Coast. And so you really get an idea of dialing in kind of the time frames that you want to look at there with those products. And then as we head into the real time of when the actual event is occurring. We have cameras all over the place. As I mentioned, I think we have 800 some cams around the world. Many of those along the East Coast. Long Island, Jersey have a bunch of them. Certainly a lot down in Florida and also sprinkled around in the Caribbean. So as we get towards the actual event, you'll want to check out those cameras for live conditions. Also, our surf reports that we update twice a day for all those locations, and it will really help dial in those best times for you to get some surf, because it does look like we're going to see a good amount of waves for many locations here as we head through the rest of the week and even into next week, depending on your location. All the details you need on Surfline. Get some waves. If you're up in the Northeast, stay warm because it's going to snow a lot for some zones. And yeah, just take advantage of the surf while we have it and enjoy it.